Hello everyone. Now, as you're all probably aware, there's been some controversy surrounding Blizzard recently. Now, if you are out of the loop, basically what happened is that during a Hearthstone tournament which took place in Taiwan, the winner of said tournament during the post match phase and the interviews, he decided to finish the interview by saying a pro Hong Kong message, and after this, but the casters were fired. The winner of the tournament was lost his winnings and was banned from playing in tournaments for 1 year. Now, since the making of that decision, Blizzard has gone back on it slightly in the sense that the suspension is now only for 6 months, and the guy did receive his money after all. But let's just tackle that one thing at a time. Now, I suppose first things first is why didn't I address this topic sooner? Now, uh, the honest answer is that I just had a really bad week in real life and I didn't have the energy to put out videos. If you're wondering about the Q&A video and why didn't I address the controversy there, it's because I actually recorded it before the controversy even happened. So there you go. I just really chose to release it later. Originally, I wanted to release it on Tuesday because I released it later just as a form of small protest against what happened. There you go. Now, I don't really want to touch upon topics like this, controversies in general, even when public opinion is almost unanimous and I share said public's opinion. By the way, this video probably is not going to have any revolutionizing thoughts on the matter. This is just my opinion. And I felt that I had to make a video on it because this channel is 95% or more Blizzard stuff. And to not address it seems almost disingenuous on my part, to be perfectly honest. And now, usually, if there are controversies that I talk about, they are lore ones. I don't really talk usually about meta controversies related to Blizzard in general. And the main reason for that is that for me, video games and making these videos are a bit of a cathartic exercise. They help me sort of escape from the troubles of reality, and this is partly the main reason why I make videos. One, to make myself feel better, and two, to help to make people who watch these videos either laugh from my machinima or help them be informed from my lore facts or just hear not so inflammatory opinion from my top whatever videos and so on and so forth. That's the main point of my videos, to have fun. And this is part of the reason why I'm hesitant to touch upon this topic, even though I share the opinion of the general public. Now, in regards to the controversy itself, look, I am a Romanian. I live in a former communist country, even though I was not born during the time of communism, and I also happen to have a degree in history. So trust me, I know what this kind of regime means, and it's an evil thing. No, there's no two ways to go about it. A dictatorship like what's happening in China is an evil thing, and I'm never going to support the Chinese Communist Party like that was ever in question. Now, this is a bit weirder when it comes to this controversy specifically. Let's I suppose address it point by point. Do I think Blizzard was right to take some sort of measure? I think so, yes, though not to the extreme that they did, and certainly not with the attitude they took afterwards. I believe them when they say that they want to keep their esports politics free. That's understandable. Now, it's obvious that this is not just about politics. It's obvious that they didn't want to lose access to the huge Chinese market, obviously. And it's a very morally reprehensible thing that they did. not necessarily in punishing the player. I think some punishment was appropriate, but in the absolutely extreme way they punished the player as well as the casters who they had some part of guilt in that they allowed it to happen, and if I'm not mistaken they said yes, you can say that message, but nevertheless the punishment that both the casters and the players suffered was incredibly extreme. Now the main reason I'm not say very vocal about this, other than that I try to maintain positivity through my channel's videos. The main reason why um, I'm not more outraged is that, generally speaking, I don't hold corporations to moral standards. In that, I should probably explain, a corporation, this is not related to politics, either left wing or right wing or whatever, but a corporation at its core is an entity formed to facilitate making money. That's their end goal at the end of the day. And so I don't hold corporations to moral standards, even when they say, "Oh, we support LGBT rights," or "We support not killing puppies," or whatever else. I don't hold them to those standards, no matter what they say, because to me, holding a corporation to a moral standard, even one that they espouse, is like expecting a car mechanic to perform dental surgery. To me, it seems a corporation is something made to make money, not something to enforce a political stance, even no matter how good that political stance is. And so even before this controversy, when Blizzard's philosophy was think global, embrace all opinions and such, I didn't. I just didn't take them at their word, and I frankly didn't really care, because I know that their end goal, as with any corporation, is to make money. And that's not saying something that corporations are evil or whatever else. As I said, this is not a political statement. This is just a corporation, by definition, is not first and foremost made to have a political stance on a topic. And if they do have a political stance, I just don't take them at their word, because that that's not their end goal. It's just PR, in my opinion. Even if, say, their founders or many of their workers personally embrace that opinion, at the end of the day, it's just PR. Now, to make a little tangent, whatever I'm saying about Blizzard right now does not obviously apply to the people who work at Blizzard, as in people like Christy Golden or Ian Hazakostas, or whoever else who's in development. They obviously don't have anything to do with this. Now, going back to the topic at hand, to me it seems obvious that in this moral dilemma between um, having access to the Chinese market and protecting this player who chose to speak out for what's happening in Hong Kong, for what's happening to his people, frankly, it's obvious to me from the first moment that they were going to clamp down on him. Now, obviously, I did not expect them to hit him so hard, and that's probably the main thing that's upsetting people, and partly upsetting me as well, because you're being pretty too much on the nose here. I mean, I personally never believed that you actually fully embrace those values you keep babbling about, but I, at the very least, I thought you were smart enough to avoid this kind of PR catastrophe. What can you do? Now, Blizzard has released a statement, as if earlier today or yesterday. Frankly, when I woke up, I read it on Twitter. Basically, just a bunch of PR nonsense. Also reducing the ban to 6 months and returning the player's winnings to him, and it's obviously a form of damage control, and you should not take it at face value that they did not act that way because it had nothing to do with China. Otherwise, why is the name Hong Kong still banned in usernames recently? Um, and such and such. Blizzard is in damage control mode, and even that they seem to be doing badly. Not no, I don't know what much else I can say on the controversy itself. Now, how will this affect me? How will this affect the channel? What I personally would recommend you? It's not really going to affect the channel, not directly, in the sense that I still want to do videos on World of Warcraft lore and such. Um, it's I as I said, it's a cathartic release for me, and I personally believe that if my videos somehow make someone who's viewing them happy, or keep them better informed, or make them embrace a different viewpoint from my opinions, I think that's a good thing, and I want to continue doing what very little good I do. Um, Emphasis on very little. As to how will this affect my relationship with Blizzard games, I'm not going to join the boycott because, as I said, when I judge a corporation, I judge them based on their products, not on their political stances. Not unless it's something very absurd, like the company's CEO is using the money to kill babies or something. Who knows? Well, this kind of ties in with with Chinese dictatorship, but let's not touch that can of worms right now, even though we are fully in the can of worms. But yeah, how will this affect my relationship with Blizzard games? I don't really play Blizzard games much in general anyway. I only really played World of Warcraft for the story, not for the MMO or the grindy aspects. I occasionally played Hearthstone, and I probably am still going to occasionally play it whenever the mood strikes me. And when Warcraft 3 Reforged comes out, I'm going to play it and also do playthroughs on the channel. And if something in the future comes out regarding StarCraft, I'm also going to play that. Again, the main reason why I'm not personally boycotting Blizzard or their products related to this controversy is that, again, I don't hold corporations to moral standards, even if they babble themselves about said moral standards. I just don't believe them. I just take them, look, you have a good product, that's what I'm going to judge you on mostly. Um, as to what my, say, advice, for lack of a better word, would be to people who are watching is make your own decisions. If you feel that you can't support Blizzard anymore because of this action, you are freely justified in not buying their products anymore. If you instead think that you enjoy Blizzard games too much, or that Blizzard games are an important part of your life and your personal joy, say, that's also entirely up to you. It's an entirely valid viewpoint. And I would personally, in that specific case, for instance, encourage you not to boycott Blizzard and to do what makes you personally happy. Because at the end of the day, this is just my opinion. At the end of the day, whether one person does or does not pay for the World of Warcraft subscription matters much less in the grand scheme of things to me than that person's personal mental health and um, well-being, for lack of a better term. If Blizzard games make you happy, then continue playing Blizzard games. If you think that you can't support them anymore because of this controversy, then don't support them anymore. These are just my opinions. As a little side note, I ran a poll on Twitter as to whether I should do a video on this topic or not, and the poll was unanimous that I should. And I was torn on it, as I said, well, partly because I want my channel, my videos to be more of a positive thing. That's why, even in cases where I actively hate something, like when I talked about how I hated Sylvanas becoming war chief, I didn't, for instance, attack Sylvanas fans or whatever, because I want my channel to be a place where people go to feel a little better about their days. That This is just my opinion and my take on it. And the poll again was unanimous that I should do a video, and I was torn because I didn't want to do it, partly because of this, but I also thought that I should do it because, as a mainly Blizzard focused channel, it does seem disingenuous on my part not to do it. These are just my thoughts. Yeah, not much else I can say on the topic. In regards to the channel in general, there will be a lore facts coming tomorrow on Sunday. There is also, you can also follow me on Twitter, where I usually post channel updates, usually including the schedule for each specific week on my channel. I would also encourage you to check out my latest Q&A video, where I also discuss a little bit about the future of the channel going forward, and encourage you to ask me questions where I can also talk about your questions and your favorite lore topics and so on and so forth. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching. I took up way more of your time than I expected to. If you stuck to the end, thank you, I guess. Yeah, I'll see you all later, and farewell.